Alaska Herbal Solutions, and I am out camping on Memorial Day weekend. You'll be seeing this after that, but I found some awesome plants that I wanted to show you guys. Let's get to it. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so here you can see some fiddlehead ferns that are a little bit too late to harvest. So some people might be tempted to get it when they're like this, but you need, they're really tall. You want to get them when they're shorter, like about that high. And then you've got the horsetail going from its spore form into its leafy type form. And there's Hunter, my husky German Shepherd mix. Say hi, Hunter. Alright, so that's it for this little area. Alright, so here, this little plant right here, it's a little bit fuzzy. It's not quite as fuzzy as comfrey, which doesn't grow up here naturally. This is something that grows up here natural. This is chiming bells. You can eat the leaves raw. You can also put the flowers in salads and that kind of thing. It's not the best tasting, not my favorite, but I still enjoy it. Alright, what we have here looks to be like some sort of currant based on the leaf structure. I don't know if there's several, like I said, several different types of currants. There's red currants, there's black currants, and there's also something called skunk currants. While skunk currants are edible, they don't taste very good. They kind of taste like a fart. So, like I said, I'm not sure which one this is. I'm not as familiar with this one as other berries. So, but you can tell a currant plant by the leaf type, because they have these nice star type leaves. Alright, so this is stiff club moss. There are several different types of club moss. This is one that is not necessarily edible or good for a whole lot. The only thing is that these spore tips, if you shake them, when they're at the right time, I don't think it's quite the right time, but it's getting in there. If you shake them, the yellow powder that comes off of it works as a styptic, so it stops bleeding, and that is excellent for when you are hiking and you get yourself a little bit of a cut. So that is stiff club moss. Now, stiff club moss, some people may think or mistake for crowberries, and I can see how somebody who's just starting out would do that. I actually kind of, when I first moved to my property, crowberry grows in a similar area as the lingonberries, and these, since these grow around lingonberries too, I did mistake it for crowberry, but it's not, and I am going to go show you what crowberry looks like. So here is what crowberry looks like. You can see how it is like slightly green. It's very similar, but it's lower to the ground, and it's bushy, so it's not a single stalk. The crowberry comes from, it's kind of like a creeping thing, and it doesn't grow quite as tall. I mean, it can, but it's also not as stiff. The leaves will come off individually, like this, whereas the stiff club moss, it's a little bit more difficult to take it off. So the leaves are a little bit rounder, they're not quite as spiny. And crowberries are a good additive. They don't have a lot of taste themselves, but they are a good additive to other jams and berries due to the amount of pectin that's in them. Here's another example of the crowberry. You can see it's a little bit longer, and this is pretty much why people will think that, or that people will mistake crowberry and stiff club moss. But now you can see right there, there's the stiff club moss. Moving over here. So the green is much deeper on the crowberry than the stiff club moss. So what we have right here, this plant right here, is Labrador Tea. There's another plant called bog mary that looks very similar, bog rosemary that looks very similar, but that one is actually really poisonous. And how you tell the difference between, besides the flowers, the flower of a bog rosemary is kind of like a little bell shape, and you have a bunch of little flowers and kind of like an umbrella with this. But an easy way to tell is the rust colored on the bottom of the leaf. And so that's how you know that it's Labrador tea. Now, Labrador tea is awesome. Historical fact, during the pre-revolution, when the colonists were boycotting the tea from England, they would use this instead. So it's a nice replacement for black tea, especially if you can't have caffeine, because this is caffeine free. It does have a slight sedative effect, so if you want it to wake you up, this is not what you want to drink it for. You want to drink it at night, but it is an excellent anti-inflammatory. Now, you'll hear me talk a lot about stuff that I use for my husband because we're in the Society for Creative Anachronism, and so he gets hurt a lot. Anyways, last summer we were at an event and he was swinging down and somebody was bringing their shield up. And so his wrist hit the shield at an it was just really bad. And so there was Labrador tea growing all over. So I made a tea out of it, but I also used the soaked stems and mixed it with cottonwood bud oil, or poplar bud oil, and to help with the swelling, because there wasn't a whole lot of ice available because it was a camping event out in Anderson, up near Fairbanks. But anyway, so that is an excellent use for it. However, there is a part of it, I don't remember the name of it at the moment, that is dangerous if you drink too much of it. So this is like a one at a time thing. You don't want to drink it every day because it can build up in your system. Okay, so this is Paella. I asked my husband what this was when we were walking earlier, and he's like, spinach? And I realized that yes, it does look like a lot like spinach, but I know it's Paella because it comes out here. You can see the flower starting to come out, but it kind of has 5 to 6 leaves. In the early spring it has even less. But this is also called wintergreen because it does stay green over the winter. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the scent or the flavor of wintergreen. It doesn't taste anything like it. Now, my favorite thing about Paella, and the reason why I asked my husband about it, is because he uses a Paella balm for his hands. He's had nerve damage in his hands and used to not be able to feel anything on the tips of his fingers, and now using that he has been able to. So that's why Paella is one of our favorite plants, and why I wanted him to be able to recognize it, because we do have it all over our property. And then you can see there's some sphagnum moss all over. I mean, it's a forest. It grows absolutely everywhere. Has anti-inflammatory properties, can hold up to a pound of water per ounce of moss, so it's really helpful for a lot of things. Hi there, I hope you enjoyed the video of my Memorial Day hike where I went over a couple of plants that I found while I was out hiking and camping. So I have an exciting announcement. This week on Facebook I reached 100 likes. I know it's 100, but it's like the first milestone. So in order to celebrate, what we are doing this week is a contest. So how do you enter? The first one is if you've liked the page, you have an entry. If you share the page, that's another entry. If you mention us in a comment, that's an entry. Let's see here now. And if you come by my booth, so I'm going to be at the Soldotna Wednesday markets at the Soldotna Creek Park all day Wednesday from like 11 to 9 p.m. So 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So if you stop by, say hi, I'm entering the contest for Alaska Herbal Solutions Facebook page. I'll get down your name, or your Facebook name, and if you spend $10, so for every $10 that you spend at my shop, you will get an entry as well. Well, what are you doing the contest for? You are doing the contest to win a $10 off coupon of your next purchase. Now, depending on how many entries I get, the more entries I get, I may give out more than one. So if you want to have more than one chance, do as many of those entry possibilities as possible. And like I said, if I get more than enough entries, I may give out more than one coupon. So I really hope you enjoyed that video, and thank you for all of your support. I do this for you because I want to share my knowledge with everybody, and I want to help everybody feel better naturally the Alaskan way. Thank you. Have a great day.